a new...
If you guys are popping in just now and haven't already realized it, there are going to be spoilers for Frozen 2, Final Space Season 2, and Star Wars 9. So if you haven't seen any of those, please turn back now. Continue at your own risk. So,
spoiler alert, just so you guys know. Maybe we'll move this to the beginning of the episode. I don't know.
Okay. So,
back to business. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the 8th podcast episode of
The
Thought Sprinkles. I'm Caleb Haywood.
I am Seth Dunham.
Now you know our last names.
Yes.
It's been a bit.
Yeah.
Since our last episode. It's
the
now
new decade has begun.
2020 is upon us.
Yes,
we have entered a new era.
Yeah. But despite the fact that the time the last episode came out, it was already 2020. Despite.
Oh, true.
Yeah. By the time of this recording, we haven't even released it yet. We really should rename this show to the Too Late Show.
Too late. Yeah. Something like that.
I am too quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, apologies for our poor upload schedule, but I've been rather busy lately.
Yes, we have. With Christmas and New Year's Eve and the carbon tax rush at the gas station. You would not believe how rushed the gas station was on New Year's Eve.
Do tell.
All right. So I have 16 pumps. I'd say about 3 of them were down that day. All the rest were already occupied, and there was a massive lineup. It was like that every minute for 6 hours of the day. By the time I was working there, only quieting down around 7ish. It was.
Sounds hectic.
Chaos.
Dang. Holidays were busy at my place of work as well. Just lots of food.
Yeah.
Being ordered, and people staying late, and you know how it is. But I had an excellent Christmas and a good New Year's.
As did I.
Excellent. Yeah, so Happy New Year's, everyone.
Happy New Decade.
Wow. 2020.
Yes. And now I'm going to have to get used to the fact that our numbers start with 202 instead of 201.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
What a decade it was. We had Facebook. Facebook began in 2012.
Was it? Did it only began in 2012?
I think so.
No.
Hold on,
That's crazy.
When was Facebook established?
Facebook was formed the 4th of February, 2004.
I guess not.
2004. Okay, it is older than that because I was like, no, but still.
Yeah.
Still, even in the last 10 years, the amount of things that have changed has surprised me.
Mm-hmm. About 10 years ago, the game Lego Universe came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 2010.
I was 11 years old.
Yeah. That's only 10. That's only 10 years ago, and it's not even still running. It's so sad.
Oh, man. Sorry, I just got stalled having just memory flashbacks of all the...
Flood.
Oh, it's been I've gone from a child to an adult in that time.
Yeah. It's funny how teenagehood doesn't last over a decade.
No, it's a very brief moment in your life.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, I was a young and stupid teenager, and now I'm an old and stupid adult.
Yeah. I'm still a boy at heart, but this is important.
Yes.
But since we've come to the end of the year and a lot of things have come out since then, I believe it is time for a thing review.
Yes, today our plan is just to review some stuff that we've seen in the last few weeks here throughout the year. Just whatever we feel like reviewing. We have a couple things queued up, but we'll see where the conversation leads.
All right. First up, Frozen 2. After 6 years, it finally came out after much wishing of the parents that it wouldn't.
Yes, despite the unwant, Frozen 2 arrived, and I loved the first movie.
Good story.
Now, it was unfortunate because I was forced to watch it over and over and over, and as I'm sure many families were, to the point where it became annoying.
Yeah, luckily I only ever saw it once.
That's a miracle, because for you, that keeps it fresh, and it's a good movie. Frozen is I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
Now, the trailers leading up to Frozen 2, I thought were lame. They looked not good. I thought they gave too much of the story away. I was scared for Frozen 2. How about you? Any thoughts leading up to the reveal of Frozen 2?
I do remember. I think I can't really remember what I thought when I saw the thumbnail for the first trailer for the first time. I was like, "It is upon us."
You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I hoped for a while that it wouldn't, but eventually I'm just. But nowadays I'm just like, okay, we'll just roll with it. It'll probably
just go with the flow.
Yeah. But I thoroughly enjoyed the second installment. I do remember for a long time. For a while I didn't like it, but in the years leading up to the sequel's announcement, I explicitly stated that I don't hate Frozen 2. I maintain respect for it because it is the highest grossing animated movie of all time.
Really?
And I would say it has earned its place.
Frozen 2?
The first one.
The first one?
Yeah. Or at least it was until the live action Lion King dethroned it.
Ah, right. I as well really enjoyed Frozen 2.
Yeah.
I was, again, going into that theater, I was very sure that I wasn't going to enjoy Frozen 2, but then I did. Disney pulled their magic card on me, and I loved it, and I'd go see it again. It was very, very good, at least in my opinion. A little bit cheesy, of course, but that's to be expected. Yeah, just overall good movie. I think the soundtrack and the animation was done very well.
Yeah.
The story, I'm gonna give the story 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it was
it's a little bit cop-outy. That's what I found, but overall, I think I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought it was very epic. I really like where they are right now, where the characters are. So I was kind of surprised when Elsa died. See?
There we go. There's the spoilers.
Yeah. That was your warning. Turn back now. That was a fake spoiler. For real. Here be spoilers. Okay. So, as you all know, as you all should know, the movie ends with Elsa stepping down to become Disney's equivalent of Jack Frost. And Anna becoming Queen of Arendelle. And I remember going in the theater watching. I was like, "What?
What?"
Well, it started. I was like, "What?" But I did like that direction. I felt that was very.
I also appreciated it. I was glad that because let's be real, Anna was truly meant to be the Queen of Arendelle, and also was destined to be the frozen snow queen.
Yeah.
That guards nature.
The guardian. I always kind of subconsciously thought of Elsa as a superhero. I mean, look, if you have superpowers and you use them to protect people, that technically makes you a superhero. Sort of. Except I don't think she has a supervillain. Am I too quiet?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
No, you look good.
I'll boost it later.
Yeah, I think Elsa is technically a superhero, although I say she's more of a witch.
Mm-hmm.
Not in like I don't mean that in a bad way, like
Not the superstitious.
like in the
dark way.
Hogwarts way,
Yeah.
where it's just like a powerful magic lady.
She's a mage,
Yes.
or
Oh, you're a wizard.
hold on. What's the female form of mage?
I found this on the web.
I think it'd still be mage.
It comes to the same thing. Anyway, so Frozen 2, muy bueno, mucho epic motion picture.
Mucho super spicy.
Hot.
Yeah.
Which is technically the opposite word that you would use
Yes.
for Frozen.
And
But
fun fact, the day we went to go see it, it was blizzarding quite
Yes.
heartily. It was the perfect day to see Frozen.
Before going in, I was watching the blizzard and I was like, this was destined to be.
Yes.
And also, if all of you caught our Olin Rogers reference, today we must review Final Space.
Yes. All of Final Space, or specifically Season 2.
Season 2, since we've just finished it.
Yes, we literally just finished it about 10 minutes ago.
And whoo boy.
I love me some Final Space. I think the way Olin Rogers does stories is everything that I love. It's the same. I love Final Space for the same reason I love Guardians of the Galaxy. It's that roughed up hero who's always in a bit of trouble, but at the end of the day, he has a good heart.
Yeah. And keeps up a funny attitude.
Oh yeah.
Plays at it.
Oh yeah, the comedy is amazing. That show is able to maintain a dark atmosphere. Oop,
Sorry.
Nice. Yeah, it's able to be funny and serious at the same time, without ruining it,
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
And this season got particularly deep, as I recall.
Yes, it did.
All familial ties and repercussions of what went down in the previous season.
Yeah, a lot of callbacks, a lot of bringing up a lot of, I want to say, family issues that make you go, what?
What?
Spoiler alert, a new character is introduced. Gary's mother,
Yes, Sharon Goodspeed.
Sharon Goodspeed.
I think that's her name.
Yeah,
I don't know. Kevin and Clarence kept messing up names, so now I'm not sure.
it's Shannon.
Yeah.
No, sorry, not Sharon. Shannon. Shannon Goodspeed. Very interesting character. The way they portrayed her character was very
Yeah.
fitting and necessary, I think, to drive the plot of season 2 forward.
Yeah. I love Ash. I loved Ash and Fox.
Ash and
I was
Fox.
about to say Tank.
Well,
that's,
that would be fitting.
That's the guy from The Matrix.
Yeah.
Was I was thinking. At first, I thought that Ash's backstory wasn't too relevant, but then after she freed Avocado, I was like, okay, that fits.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of that, I also like how there's no content in that show that isn't useful. Like, there's almost no filler content.
Yeah.
Which I think keeps it really. It keeps it moving.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I think a lot of and I think it's easy to do with cartoons, is to just add a bunch of filler and like
Yeah.
useless plot lines. But Final Space, they keep their seasons short to the point, and it's just a wonderful
Yeah.
show. I would highly recommend.
Also, there was time travel in it, and I think it was handled actually quite well.
They do they do time travel very well in that show. Also, I said doo-doo earlier.
Also, I would like to point out that the guy, the blue guy from the guy who sort of guides the group along in the time travel adventures.
Mm.
It looks a lot like Goofy's monster form in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He did have very similar vibes.
Poof. We should call him Poofy.
Poofy. Yeah, so if you're into sci-fi, fantasy, space, adventure type movies, definitely would recommend Final
Yes.
Space.
Now we have to wait for season 3.
Yes. Left on a bit of a cliffhanger,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for. I'm always down for more Final
Cliffhangers
Space.
is good.
Yes. Very good. Oh, Final Space gets a easy 9 for me. 9 out of 10, for sure. Yeah. Now,
Now for something else in space.
in a galaxy far, far away,
A long time ago.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker has hit theaters.
To some chaotic reception.
The media did not like it.
Yeah. Why? My question is why? What is there to hate about this epic piece?
Because you loved the new Star Wars, as did I. So it's confusing. Now, I can understand why people would want to hate it. And I can even understand why people do hate it. Listen, there's a lot of Star Wars fans have been long time fans.
Yeah.
Like fans from the very start. While they do now have a new young crowd, I'm sure they also have an older crowd that they also have to try and please.
Yeah.
Now, you can't. It's obviously you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
There's always going to be at least one person out there who hates what you're doing, which is that's fine. Haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Um,
And if such is the case, don't switch up your entire system just to please the one hater.
No, and I wouldn't go into that theater if you plan on watching Star Wars. Do it. Come up with your own opinion. If you go in, watch it, and hate it, sure, I can respect that. I loved it though. I thought it concluded everything very well. I thought it tied all the loose ends together pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
Chewie got his medal.
Chewie did get his medal. There was a lot of. That's also, I can understand why people would hate that. There's a lot of fan service in Rise of Skywalker. A lot of crowd pleasing, which I love, of course. Yeah, I'm all into that sort of stuff, like bringing in stuff from legends and background stories that don't really serve a purpose but are cool to see.
Yeah.
And I love the way they did. Spoiler alert: Palpatine.
Yeah.
Incredible.
All creepy and spooky.
And just. Oh man,
Like,
it reminded me of GLaDOS from Portal 2.
yeah.
Not only in his like emotions and the way they made him like attached to that thing,
But this gigantic arm for just this tiny little guy.
but just like the way that they like tied like his master plan into everything, and just like made you go like, whoa, like
The manipulations.
he's like, even before his death in quotations from episode 6, things were already in motion leading towards this ultimate destiny. Which is like, I don't know. I like stuff like that. And I'm a Star Wars buff, so I'm willing to suspend my belief to the point where nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
That's my take.
For me, I understand why he killed off Palpatine. why he brought back Palpatine, because Ryan killed off Snoke. So you still need a big bad. And I don't think it could have been anybody but Palpatine. Like, Palpatine was the last Sith. Because Vader changed his ways at the last minute, and then from the moment he was flung off the cliff to the reactor core, I think, he was the only Sith in the galaxy. So this whole saga is about Jedi versus Sith, rebellion versus Empire. And if you just pit Rey against some other evil dude, then it doesn't really finish it. And my mom pointed out that it was fitting for Palpatine to be killed by his own energy, his own lightning being just blasted back at him, like Voldemort being killed by his own spell rebounding.
A fitting end.
Where the evil destroys itself.
I appreciate that. It's classic, but it works, and I like that.
I did notice a couple parallels to Endgame, notably the humongous army, the I Am, fill in the blank.
Well, it's that grand finale movie, and I think it must have similar tones as movies like Endgame and other like finales to a series, which you don't see, or where. I guess I could say it seems almost trendy to do now. But both the Marvel series and the Star Wars saga they've been going on for years, especially Star Wars. Yeah. It's spanned decades. Yeah, I think they put that realm of Star Wars to rest well. And I don't want to see any more Star Wars movies in that line.
Yeah.
I'm down for spin-offs and stuff like that.
See spin-off of Rey's Academy, or
I want to see like an Obi-Wan movie. Or movies like on like side characters even. I think that would just be super cool. But I feel satisfied with the way Star Wars ended. Yeah.
So, that being said, was there anything in the movie that you weren't really too on board with?
Yeah. There's always going to be stuff like that. When Ben comes crawling back up from the pit he was thrown in and saves Rey by giving her his life force, they kissed? Which, listen, I think that would have been fine if they were... It wasn't set up to be that. It was kind of random.
Yeah, it was kind of like sort of implied, just like nudging. But you can't go from a simple nudge to a great shove.
I agree. And
yeah, I mean, even watching it in the theater, I remember going in and was just like, I'm just gonna take it in stride. I'm not super picky, but no. I just remember watching it, just going like, gigantic shrug.
Mostly, I felt like, why?
Yeah.
It didn't...
Just to satisfy the fans? I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It felt forced.
I don't know. I felt like Finn and Rey would have been a more compelling relationship.
I thought that was the whole thing, like the whole time.
Yeah. Instead, Finn was apparently going to tell Rey that he was force sensitive, which also probably would have been pretty cool, but...
Well, I mean, he used a lightsaber pretty good.
Yeah.
Which is not easy to do, apparently, according to the lore.
I mean, Han Solo sliced open one tauntaun with it.
Yeah, but that's not like you... Finn was in a duel with Kylo Ren. He lost, but he did well.
Well, they held his own for like a minute or two.
That's pretty good. Like, Kylo Ren is kind of awesome. He's very skilled.
And a very angry, lashy boy.
He's He's got some issues, but that's okay.
Some what?
Issues.
Issues. It's got some issues.
A little bit of issues.
Yeah.
Another thing that I feel slightly upset about is the fact that I don't know who Rey's grandmother is, if she even has one, or did. Because I know, at least in Legends, Palpatine does have the ability to, with the use of the dark side of the Force, create life.
Great life.
He has discovered that secret. There's that whole theory of that's how Anakin came to be. Palpatine created such a disturbance in the Force that life spawned from it. Because Anakin had no father. He was simply born.
Yeah.
Could a similar thing happen with Rey? Possibly.
But as far as I know, Palpatine's son knew Palpatine was his father. I think.
It's just... It was one of those things that, it needed to be thrown in.
Yeah.
But it didn't... you have to just, accept it.
Yeah.
And be like,
it's the only way the story works.
Which is unfortunate, and again, another reason why I get it if people are upset. Because there's a lot of stuff like that in Episode 9.
I mean, because Abrams had to do a couple of things with what Ryan did in order to get the last episode to work properly.
I think so. I think
I think where Ryan may have gone wrong is that he didn't have in mind that this was the second to last movie in an entire series. He didn't have a finale in mind.
I think what Ryan needed to do was build suspense. But instead, people left the theaters taken aback. So I think he, not that he was wrong, but I think his objective should have been different.
Because in the grand scheme of things, in a lot of ways, I do feel like The Last Jedi didn't really work as a Star Wars episode entirely.
No, I'll love it as a Star Wars fan, but from an objective standpoint, it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Even with the choreography, as you guys probably know, I follow a YouTube channel called Shadowversity. He breaks down sword tactics and things. He broke down Rey's lightsaber skills, and apparently, according to him, they are awful. Her stance is off. Her baseball bat swings are completely useless, and he also mentioned, or I think that was VFX Artist React. They in the fight scene with the palace guards, in one shot, Rey gets into a fight with one guard that has two short swords.
Yeah,
and they get into an interlock sort of chokehold, and one of the swords is apparently edited out. It just disappears because canonically he would have easily run her through with that second one, but she needs to survive, so that
they conveniently removed it.
Look, if your plot armor has to break physics, then you need to rethink your movie.
Yeah, listen. Thank goodness for plot armor. It saved many a character. But don't make it obvious.
Yeah.
To the point where you're literally editing out a sword.
Yeah. Or slowing down time.
Lame. But
look, if you're gonna do stuff like that, don't make it do a Deus Ex Machina. Make it a Chekhov's gun. Because I think that's a go-to way to make Deus Ex Machina work. Yeah.
But of course, I'm going to continue to love it. I'm a Star Wars buff. That's just how it is. Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff.
Yes, epico Star Wars.
Yeah.
So that was our 3.
Those are some
Thing review.
thing reviews. What time we got here? 30 minutes?
Oh, did you know that squinch is a real word?
Squinch is
Yeah.
a real word?
I thought I coined it, but it's actually a real word.
Okay, do tell the definition of squinch.
All right. Okay, as a noun, it is a straight or arched structure across an interior angle of a square tower to carry a superstructure such as a dome. As a verb, tense up the muscles of one's eyes or face.
Amazing.
So I was dead on with how I used it. Okay. I have the thought render engine written down.
The thought render engine?
Yeah.
What is this?
I have no idea. I just wrote it down.
It sounds like a room where it's like cerebral. Where just whatever you're thinking materializes, not in reality, but just like a visual of it.
I think what I was thinking, it was like the part of your brain that visualizes stuff.
There are many parts of your brain that do that. Did you know that there's a specific section of your brain dedicated to detecting faces? It's possible to be face blind. There's people who that part of their brain doesn't work, and so they can see, and they can see that you have a nose, but they don't recognize any of it as a face. So emotions to them are in the face, at least, are completely unknown. And that to me is so strange that can even happen.
That
I
was
learned
so
that
weird.
recently.
To be in such a guy's shoes would be so strange for a day.
Oh, like if just suddenly like you couldn't detect faces.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I don't even understand how that works.
It's like
can you even imagine that?
I don't know. As like thinking of it right now, I'm just seeing like a blank head. But to put a face, nose, my brain already clicks in that there's face on there. But
Yeah, it's just automatic for you because obviously that still works.
you
but
can't turn it off.
No.
It's important to survival.
But there's people who don't have that, and they can live a perfectly normal life.
Like they can recognize loved ones, right? They can recognize people.
Probably, but not by their face. And that is to me a strange concept. It's do you know what synesthesia is?
When multiple senses are involved in one sensory thing, like you can
Yes.
hear sight or smell sound or things like that.
Yeah, and that's also crazy. I would love to experience that for a day.
It's like, can you hear this GIF?
Can you hear the number purple? And you're like, what? Like, what does the number 3 taste like? You can't imagine that, but yet there's probably someone out there who, whenever they're counting, like they'll go 1, tastes like oranges. 2, tastes like strawberries. 3, tastes like paper. I don't know. It could be anything. Or I watched this short documentary, like video thing. There's a violinist who she has synesthesia, and for her, as she plays, like the different notes, like different colors will just like appear in her vision, almost like, I want to describe it as almost like fireworks, but just like different, like pulses of light, and like in different colors and stuff, like as the notes are hit. That'd be pretty cool to experience. They set up like a computer rendition of what it would kind of be like. Obviously, you can't truly experience that.
Yeah.
The brain is weird, bro.
Yeah. Brain's weird. Did you know that I can remember with some detail my very first encounter with raspberries?
Amazing. First of all. Also, yes, please.
Okay, so I think this is how it went. I was at I was at a family's house, distant family, probably some other province, and I remember that there was a bush in the backyard that had raspberries in it, and I remember it was late in the day. It was quite cool. I don't remember the exact taste, but I do remember trying one off the bush, and I'm just like, it's too intense.
It's too intense.
I don't think that's what I said exactly. It was just like, no, not for me. Like that. That's what it felt like. And yeah, every time I taste raspberries, I remember that. Just like I remember smelling a raspberry vape, and then I'm just like, oh, I should talk about that on the podcast.
That time I tried raspberries for the first time.
I'm just like,
Incredible.
nah.
Not a raspberry fan, huh?
Nope. Not a raspberry boy. Not a raspberry boy.
There's this odd memory that comes up in my brain every once in a while. It has nothing to do with fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna two memories that take place in the same event. One, which I think is real, and the other one, I believe I've completely made up.
Mm-hmm.
But I also might not have. And it took place years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was a family week with Rocky View, and we had gone.
Rocky View Alliance Church.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those who don't know.
Yes, I was incredibly young. I think Grace may have been born, so I would have only been like between the ages of 5 and 7, I'm going to say. And so I'll tell the potentially false memory first.
Mm-hmm.
I have this strange memory of there were cabins there. And I remember everyone freaking out about something that was inside of one of these cabins. A spider, and a rather large one. And in my memory, I remember walking into the cabin and seeing this, like, not huge spider, but like a big spider.
Yeah, like maybe like 2 inches or...
I want to say like toonie size.
Mm-hmm.
Big for Canada. We don't get big spiders here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But it was big for, like, considering. And then I don't know, my memory of it is it like jumping out of the room, which doesn't seem likely, which is, that's the part where I'm like, that sounds made up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure, but it's so strange because this memory comes up very often, where I'm like, I can't quite remember exactly how that went down, or if I dreamed the whole thing. I have no idea, but it plagues me. The other one, which I pretty sure is real, is there was a flood that year. So we had to evacuate like late at night out of this place because it was about to be flooded. So I remember that a little bit. I remember being woken up and just being like we gotta go. we gotta go. You could sleep in the car. I don't remember anything else other than that. Like, I'd love to say I remember like the screaming children and all the terror, but that's not the case. I just remember being woken up and then not being there.
I have a memory that for a good while in my youth I thought was real, but for the past many years I have known for a long time that was definitely dreamt. I thought it was a real memory. It's like maybe like 2 seconds worth of memory footage.
Okay, I like that.
Just me looking down at the parking pad with these two, like, 5-inch long, with a few 5-inch long ants.
5-inch long ants. Oh, could you imagine?
And I legit thought that this was a real memory. I even wrote in a school assignment about them.
So you were convinced to the point where you brought it into your schoolwork?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then looking back on it later, I was like, no, that doesn't even feel real.
I'm reminded, speaking of ants, of a... Now, this is a memory that is true, but at the time, I had put in my mind a false twist on it. Before we moved to our house in Temple, we lived in a townhouse in Marlborough. And there was like a communal backyard thing with like a couple trees. It's where I learned to ride my bike. Actually, I learned how to ride my bike on my neighbor's bike, but that's a different story.
Was that the face full of dirt?
No.
Okay.
Well, that took place after I had already learned how to ride my bike. But there was this, I was sitting under one of these trees one day, I don't know, probably like throwing pine cones or something, playing in the dirt, just being a boy, just doing my thing, when I feel a strange tingling. And I look down, and my legs are covered in ants.
Oh my god!
I'm sitting atop an anthill.
Oof.
And I took off screaming. Ants like flying off of my pants, just like I'm tearing it back home.
Oh dear.
Now, as a child, there was nothing painful about this experience. It was more scary.
Yeah.
But I was certain I was being attacked by fire ants. Like in that moment. And for a long time, I believed that it was. I'm pretty sure I told people that they were fire ants for a while. They weren't. It was just an anthill.
Yeah.
There was no harm. They were just exploring this new thing that sat on their house.
I was like, what does this do? Ah, we're on the move!
And I just remember being so certain that I had been attacked when the complete opposite had happened. I was the one that attacked. They were just simply trying to
Just ants crawling
investigate.
over things is just...
There's something oddly creepy about it. But yeah, I don't know why I thought that they were fire ants. They really weren't. Every once in a while I remember that, but I was also not very often do I remember things from my like deep childhood.
All right, let's get to something. Subject to something less gross.
Okay. No more bug business.
I have not been assembling any thoughts for anything.
I've also, unfortunately, been lazy. I came up with a new improv game last night.
All right.
I was thinking about it, and I think it'd be pretty good. I love improv within the drama realm. It's very... Scripts are weird for me. Seth and I are in the middle of a script, and it's been strange because I often don't like sticking to scripts, and so being in the middle of writing one it's changed my perspective for the better.
And you will not know what this script is until we're ready to tell you.
Yeah, it's
Because
a secret.
right now we're not.
It's a super secret, super long project. This is all the information you get to know about it, is that it exists. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, improv for me is where it's at. I love just making up scenes and going with the flow, and that's where I came up with this game, which I call Follow My Lead.
Follow my lead.
So there's it's a warm-up game for improv. And I think it is ultimately good practice for people getting into improv or learning how to do improv. And this particular game is a practice for going with the flow, no matter the circumstance. It involves two people. One person is the leader, and the other person must follow their lead. So it's up to the first person, the leader, to make the entire scene. And the other person, no matter what happens, no matter what the other person says, must follow their lead.
Yeah.
And the moment they break, the game is over. And then you switch out.
Yeah.
For example, if I was leading, I could... Did you hear that?
Yeah, what?
That sound in the distance.
I'm listening.
It sounds like trumpets.
Trumpets.
A parade.
Oh, yay.
We're going to a parade.
All right.
Maybe we'll walk around the stage and now we're at the parade. I love parades.
Oh, yeah, me too. I wonder if they're going to have candy on this one.
Oh, of course they have candy. I love candy.
Yes.
Look, there's a guy with candy right there.
Squidward!
Squidward. Nice.
Okay.
And I don't know, and they just make the scene.
We should probably animate that.
So, there we go. Yeah, and you just... And it could be anything.
Yeah.
Like the most random... Like I could be... I can't wait to go to horse practice.
Will that be trading or riding horses? Or...
You don't know what horse practice is?
I don't. I know what riding practice is. I know what horse training is.
Ask me what horse practice is.
What is horse practice?
It's where you practice being a horse.
Oh.
This is the part where we get on all fours.
Okay.
Nay. Nay back. Ooh, hey, that was pretty good. And then I don't know. Maybe we'll go galloping later. I'm thinking 3 o'clock.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get one of the guys to ride me. Or maybe I can get one of the actual horses to ride me.
There we go. It's opposite day.
You'd be a cow horse.
Cow horse? You're just being cow horsed.
Yeah.
I like being on stage, which is strange.
Actually, we should probably do that for our script. Like, just get like a general direction and then just
Yeah.
go with it. Because we wrote one of our best scenes, which isn't going to be in the final product.
True, but it put us on the right track.
Yeah. I wonder if we can recite it. How much progress has nobody else made? 0.
Let's leave that out of here for now, and we'll just skirt around that.
Yeah.
We won't talk about our secret project.
Yeah. It's. Uh-oh. What the?
Oh.
Ripples in the rug.
Ripples in the rug. That sounds like a jazz song.
A jazz song about a monster under a bed.
Yes.
Ripples in the rug. Growls on the floor. There's a pile of acid. That's what I thought.
Nice.
It'd be a puddle, not a pile.
A puddle of...
Can liquids pile up?
Can liquids pile up? Well, like oil floats on top of water. I guess that's technically stacking liquids.
But if you could have like a mound of liquid.
I don't think that's possible.
Like you could do it with like molasses or something. Or that, you know, that tar that's dripping once every 100 or so years.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. I think... Before I say what I'm about to say, let me confirm it.
All right. That's it's really hard on the back here.
Okay.
All right.
So I wasn't wrong. Glass is not a solid, nor is it a liquid. It is a amorphous solid, a state somewhere between those two states of matter. So
Just takes a very, very long time to melt.
the particles of glass move at a pace that is not visible. Yet it is not in a state where it is completely solid. That to me is weird because it shatters and breaks and acts as a solid, yet it's not. There's
Also, if you have like pretty thick pieces of glass, they can support a lot of weight.
oh yeah, glass can be incredibly strong.
It just depends on how you shape it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that glass is a liquid, but that's not 100% true. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that before I spew my untruth. Cool Santa socks.
Thank you. So, on the subject of improv, we have assembled a series of improv raps that we did a while ago.
That's
The
right.
same night we did.
The Yoda skit, yes.
Yeah. So, my question is, do we want to release those to the public?
I say we leave that up to the fans. We have some. Be prepared for some horrible content if you vote yes, but we have a few gifts for you if you so want. Yeah, let us know what you think. We'll probably end up uploading them anyway, but it is cool to hear your guys' opinions.
Probably release them on iTunes if we're...
Probably. We might be able to.
Because not everyone has a YouTube to MP3 system.
True. I mean, there's websites that do that, but you didn't hear that from me.
I've tried some of those websites. They do end up leaving stuff on your computer. Some of them do, anyway.
There's a couple good ones that I use.
I just have a software downloaded that does it.
Fair enough. Better way to do it.
Just put them on SoundCloud. Do we have a SoundCloud?
Not yet.
We will.
Yeah, so if you guys want to hear us rap miserably about nerdy things,
Five Nights at Freddy's, Getting Over It, Lord of the Rings, camping.
all sorts of things. Yeah, we can definitely resurface those and share them with the World Wide Web. Yeah.
Epic.
So anyway, I think we should close with a little bit of a story.
Yep, I have no stories left.
You have no stories left?
I didn't write them down. I forgot to keep track of them.
Let me see here. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good winter story, actually.
All right, here we go.
I also am a big fan of that title. I was
right,
pretty
here we
proud
go.
of that one. Okay,
Next episode
here's a
we'll do-
story for y'all. I call it, I Like My Ice with Coke.
All right.
Okay. Many Christmases ago, we had a party at our house. And there were it was a good party. We were probably decorating the tree, having fun, sharing some Christmas delights.
Yes.
Midway through the party, a couple of the grown adults that were there decided to try something. You see, there was at this party Mentos and Coke.
Yes.
Now, you already know what's already going to happen.
Yeah, it's the Diet Coke, right?
I'm not sure which type of Coke it was, but Coke of some sort and
Yeah.
Mentos. Obviously, Diet Coke is the way to go. But anyway, the guys grab a bottle of Coke and a sleeve of Mentos and head outside. Because obviously, if Mentos and Coke are in the same room, you know what has to happen.
There will be.
So we go outside, and the we're all watching from the window as these grown men are outside. They unscrew the cap, throw the Mentos in, and back off, and it bubbles, and everyone's laughing and cheering, and and there's just Coke goes everywhere. We do it a couple times.
Outdoors.
Yes, of course outside. We don't want to make a mess on the inside. And it's all fun. Everyone's back inside, and we continue celebrating. Next morning, I'm outside, as I usually do. I was outside a lot as a child.
How old were you when this happened?
I want to say 12-ish.
Okay.
Between 12 and 13.
All right.
I'm going to extend it between 11 and 13.
All right.
And I'm just outside. I'm in all my snow gear. It's because it's still cold, obviously. And I noticed something on the ground. A frozen lake of Coke has appeared.
Oh. It's like all mixed in with the snow and...
It's just... It didn't snow. It was just frozen Coke. Atop a layer of snow. But mostly it was just frozen Coke. And so I grab a... Well, first, I call my neighbor Seamus. I was friends with the next door boy. He was a couple years older than me, but we got along well. And so I tapped on the fence, and eventually he did come, and he was like, "What's up?" I'm like, "You have to come over to my place." So he hops the fence and enters the yard, and we grab the hockey sticks because we know what has to be done.
Yeah. We have to mine the Coke.
We have to mine the Coke. And so we hack away, and for hours and hours and hours, we just ate Coke. These frozen chunks of the good stuff. And it was one of the most delightful memories I have of that house was eating frozen Coke with Seamus. Probably really gross because it was on the ground and we're hacking it with used hockey sticks, but nonetheless
delicious.
Fantastic. Would recommend.
Recommend.
Pretty good. Moral of the story is never take your Coke without ice.
Yeah. Unless you don't like it getting watered down. That's what I always do.
Well, I always drink my pops pretty quick, so.
Actually, so do I.
Yeah.
I always finish my pop before you do.
I know, you're a papa guzzler. As I've grown old, my desire to chug pop has decreased.
Yeah.
Yeah. An epic memory.
Yeah.
Good stretch. Nice. Anyway, what do you say you end this video, pal?
Send this audio thingamajinga thing.
Let's end this thing.
All right. So that concludes this episode of the Thought Sprinkles, aka the Too Late Show. We will see you in the 9th episode.
Whenever that arrives.
And then after that, gets recorded, we will get 10 donuts for the 10th.
That's right.
Right.
As promised, we didn't forget about it. We're just slow and lazy.
Yeah, I remembered when I was editing last night.
Fair enough.
All right. So.
Don't forget to subscribe and comment and like as per usual,
Ring the
unless you don't
bell.
want to.
Also, if you post any hateful comments about our opinions on The Rise of Skywalker, they will be deleted. You have been warned.
Yeah, also no spoilers in the comments. That'd be rude.
Yeah.
Let's keep it peaceful.
Maintain the balance in the fandom.
Yes. May the Force be with you.
I was trying to think of how to integrate the other things we did.
I saw your brain just like...
It's like, hold on. What's a greeting from Frozen 2 or Final Space we can